Hey everyone, it's Fain, Brandt with a LinkedIn bakery serving up bite-sized tips so you don't get overwhelmed. Thanks for joining me. This is my first Facebook live show of 2019 and I'm here with my girl April of Ilios Digital Organizing, and April is my first repeat guest, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I just really love geeking out with you on tools and apps, you know. So anyways, this is my second year of having my own Facebook Live show. I'm pretty excited. I think I've got it down. The tech is working tonight. So thank you so much for joining us. And before we get started with tonight's episode, why don't you drop in the comments, give me some hearts, some likes. Let me know where you're watching from and what industry you're in, because I love connecting people with people, services, resources, whatever you need. I'm pretty sure I know someone, somewhere, or someplace that you need to be connected with. So go ahead and drop that in the comments before we get started. And you know what? If you know someone that is challenged when it comes to organizing their laptops, their phones, their emails, whatever it is, why don't you go ahead and hit the share button? Just share this event with them so they can join us and learn our top tips and apps. We have some old favorites that we're going to be talking about, but we've got some new apps that we want to introduce you to. We want to keep this fresh and fun. So without further ado, April and I always like to tell people like how we know each other. I think it's important for the audience to know that, you're not just some random person that I found online. Right? So April and I actually met first at HeraHub right down in Mission Valley, where we're both members, and I think you attended a LinkedIn Lab. I did a session with you, and we just became friends. We both have cats, so we have that in common. I get cute little cat cards sent to me, the little Hallmark cards, which are always adorable, and I love that. And April's just really good at what she does, and she can help you overcome your challenge of being, what do I want to say, not being organized, I guess. So without further ado, April, what is going on with you, and tell us what are the biggest struggles when clients come to you besides me? I mean, you can use me as an example because I've got my own digitally organized challenges. But what do clients usually say? Like, what's their frustration? Before we get into the solutions, let's talk about what the frustrations are.
A lot of times for people, it's that frustration of just having too much stuff and you can't find what you need.
Okay, right there. Anyone, if you're watching and you have too much stuff on your computer and you can't find a file or an image or a document, will you just raise your hand in the comments so that we know that we're talking to the right people tonight?
And I think that happens for everybody. I mean, it even happens to me sometimes when I go look for something and I'm like, I'm sure I put it here, but then it's not there and I can't find it. So that's one, I think, of the biggest challenges that people come to me with is just how do I find stuff that I need when I need to find it?
Right, without spending like minutes, hours, days.
Yep.
I mean, I have that problem, and I thought I had a great system for naming things. Or even like putting them in, but I'll type in like LinkedIn and I can't find that one document, or did I call it LI? So maybe a naming system for your files is probably the logical place to start.
It is. It really, when you're thinking about organizing with your images, your files, your emails, everything, having some good folders, having a good structure in place, but also if you can finesse the names of it, absolutely. Having a good naming structure. Like you said, it's either LI or it's LinkedIn. It's not necessarily both.
Do you have any examples of your own, like, organizing, like, files, what you use for names or anything that you use personally that really has helped you stay organized in your business?
Well, and actually I was going to use one of the examples. I have a client who has a lot of medical files. Ooh. And so we organized her files by the name of body system. So she's got orthopedics-ankle, orthopedics-wrist, orthopedics-back. And that way they all sort of fall together in the filing system and she can find what she's looking for even if she doesn't remember exactly what she called the file.
So it's like a title and a subheader.
Yep, exactly.
That's a great
And I do that a lot too with a lot of my stuff. Organizing dash Evernote, organizing dash information, just sort of everything. It's like using numbers. Okay. Everything sort of falls in line the way you want it to when you use sort of those subheadings.
And then it comes up and you can probably see it at, I'm a visual learner. That's just, I guess it's that creative side in me, but I'm a visual learner. So I've got to see it to understand it. So Kimberly just jumped on. She said, my directory tree is scary. Oh, wait, it just disappeared. Wait. My directory tree is scary and would intimidate most. Well, Kimberly, you're not alone. If you saw the mess on this computer right here, you'd probably run. But I'm not scared because April and I were talking before the show, and she gave me some tips because I have a new laptop that I've had since November, and I'm not using it. Why? Because I'm scared to migrate this mess on this computer to that one because I don't want my new one to be a mess. So, I know there's a couple things that we should do that you and I were talking about. So let's just kind of segue into that. Let's say somebody has a new laptop, a new computer, desktop. There are two things I know that you mentioned to me that I should do before I migrate over.
Well, before you migrate over, first, it would be nice if you had some structure in your files. That would be good, even if you just have personal files and then a folder of professional files. But sometimes it's easy for people to just say, and I'm going to blame Mac people who are the only ones I know who move their entire desktop over.
Well, yeah, I can't leave anything here. I'm going to give this laptop to my husband.
I know. So backing up your information first is really where you want to start to make sure everything's backed up so that when you do move to a new system, you're not losing anything.
Okay.
That's really important. And then know that there's probably always going to be that backlog of disorganized stuff. Make a point of saying, I'm in the new computer now, moving forward. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be organized and clean and tidy, and as I have time, I'll go back to the old stuff and get that cleaned up as well.
So would it be smart to make a folder that said 2018 2018 and past and move everything there, and then I can go through it as time permits?
I actually had a client that did that. He had a folder that was called Bob's Old Mac, and then he had all of his new stuff. So yeah. It's not ideal, but it's something that really does work to get you into that new computer which you got, because it's cool and awesome.
Because otherwise I don't have the time right now to really, the first of the year is really busy for career coaches. Everybody wants a new job right now, so it's great. But I don't have time to sit and organize the files that I have, and yet I have this computer, so I should back it up, clean out my downloads, and at least set up Mary's old Mac, that folder, that file, move everything over, and then systematically just maybe every month go through a subfolder.
Yeah, because you've got a new system, and there's no reason not to get started using it. So know that you're going to set up some new folders and some new organization and start using that. And as you access those old files, move them over into the new files where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, you and I will be talking later. But anyways, so Kimberly said, is there a way to use keywords when saving docs? I'm not quite sure.
Keywords within the titles, or sometimes in the descriptions of the file. I know in the properties on Windows documents and the notes on Macs, you can sometimes put keywords in there that'll help you search for something later. Okay. And some computers do search the contents of documents.
How do you know which computers will search your content? Is that
search? Usually, you just type in your search term, and you can see sometimes it's pulling it out of a PDF.
Got it.
Or something like that. But it's metadata is what we call it. But having that metadata in the notes or in the properties does give you a little something extra to search for, but be descriptive as possible.
Okay. Hey, Lauren, thanks for joining us tonight. We got a couple people coming on, so I'll just say hey when people are joining us. So those are the top tips on how to do a migration safely and securely and not freak out about it. So why don't we talk about how to get organized if you're not doing the migration, like what I should have been doing, right? How to organize things. So what are your top organizing apps? And we were discussing this earlier. We have our true tried favorites. You want to jump into that?
Yeah. So, we talk about organizing, and organizing your files and organizing your documents is always going to be huge. And I know a lot of people are using like Dropbox and
That's your
Google
favorite,
Drive.
right? Is that?
Yeah. Dropbox is my favorite, but I know Google Drive is good because of the collaboration that you can do in it. But one of the things I talk to people about when they're using those is try to keep your business separate. So, like, I don't want to have half my business stuff in Dropbox and half my business stuff in Google Drive, and then half of it on the computer.
Well, I only have half on the computer and half in Google Drive. But I'm moving everything, like, this year, it's only, like, Google Drive.
Yeah. And that's, you're running into the same organizing challenges you have when you do files on your computers, but the first step really is keeping your stuff separated. Keeping all your business stuff together, kind of all your personal stuff by itself.
Well, if you have, like, I have a business email, right? So my business stuff is under the hello@Brandt, and I have 2 drives, one for my personal and one for my business. So you're just saying, like, just like they say in finances, keep everything separate. Yep.
And it helps to know where things are. But I'm a huge fan. I use Dropbox for almost all my folders now so that I can access things no matter where I'm at. That's a huge sort of productivity thing, is it saves me time no matter what computer I'm on. I can get to my documents as soon as I need to get to them. Yeah. When we're talking about favorite organizing tools, organizing content is really huge. I'm a ginormous fan of Evernote. Right. Evernote is just the awesomest of awesome things for organizing content that I find on the web, stuff I want to create, notes I want to take. But another really good one for organizing like articles and readings that you find on the web that you want to look at later is Pocket.
Yeah.
And I know you're a fan of Pocket.
Put it in your back pocket. You find a great article, right? And so I am the queen of having like 25 tabs open. That's just who I am. The IT guys always yell at me. I am using one tab right now so that all that's not in the background. But I love Pocket because I find an article and I'm like, man, I want to read that, or I want to reference that, or I want to share that, but not right now. And so Pocket allows you to put that in there and kind of create a library. You can actually, when I was robustly using it, I actually had like career coaching, LinkedIn. I had different library books set up, and then I could just dump all the articles there. And you can access it from your phone, from your laptop, from anywhere.
And the nice thing is with Pocket is that you can access it when you're offline. So if you're on a car trip or on an airplane and stuff, you can still get access to all those documents that you saved for a rainy day to get around to reading.
Right. I think that's why I really like that. And I used to use Evernote, and then they changed things a few years ago. And so there's a cost associated with that, with using Evernote. And so I think that's probably when I
switched over.
Yeah. Kimberly said she only has 25 tabs open. Woohoo!
That's not bad. I've seen a lot more. And that's definitely something to manage, but having a place to put all those articles that you've got tabbed open is really helpful. And like we said, Evernote, Pocket, definitely a good place to put that.
Do you use Evernote for your contacts or just for sharing? Because that's when I started using it.
I use Evernote primarily to store stuff that I find on the web that I want to access later, so like articles. But then I also use it for managing my ideas, putting together like blog posts and stuff.
Okay.
But one of the big things I use it for is task and project management. It's not what it's really designed for, but that's one of the things that I use Evernote as a way to manage my to-do list. It takes a little bit of work and finessing, and one of the other apps that's out there that I really like that I would use if I wasn't using Evernote is Trello, which I know is something that you've been using.
I love Trello. So Trello is just super easy to use. And again, I'm a visual person and Trello is very visual. Like it's colorful, you have boards, and I use it with my Facebook manager. I actually introduced her to it and I know she uses it with her clients. And for every client that I get, I set up their own Trello board. And that's where we put all of their assignments. I put all the templates there. For like my career clients, I'm like, hey, list out your top 10 organizations that you want to work at and upload your resume. Here's your LinkedIn work. Here's your career exercises. So you can upload really easily through your computer, through Google Drive. There's like 5 different ways that you can upload stuff. And you can tag people on there to get a notification. So I tell my clients, hey, when you're done with your homework, just tag me on there. And then I get an email alert and I'll know, okay, I need to go look at their Trello board and see what homework they've turned in.
Yeah, it's a fantastic. If I wasn't so deep into Evernote, I would definitely switch myself over. Yeah. But yeah, Evernote and I are sort of symbiotically joined at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, Trello is definitely one I recommend to people for task management. But again, where you can put your content, where you put those ideas, write down, like you said, resumes, write down notes, write down thoughts and ideas you have that you maybe want to access later.
Yeah, I started, so in 2017 is when I really started using it. And there's a board like for the 2017, my goals. And so I just put in my 2019 goals or revenue, streams of revenue. Like you said, I use it kind of for, dumping in all my ideas, people I want to contact, people I want to connect with. Like, oh man, I really need to reach out to that person at some point with some value, so I put notes in there of people I need to connect with, future projects, new revenue streams, all the ideas that live in this head. That it was funny because my husband said last night, oh, you didn't sleep very well, did you? I'm like, no, my brain was just like, I had a really busy day and my brain was, I should have gotten up, got on my Trello board, dumped in all my thoughts, and I probably would have been a lot better.
And that's really helpful to sort of have a place, Evernote, Trello, you told me another one, a place where you can sort of put your ideas and sort of dump that out of your brain, get it out of your brain, save room for other things. I'd mentioned Evernote was real linear thinking.
Yeah.
Trello is real visual. And then there was one that you just discovered that was a mind map one.
Mind node. It's like mind mapping. And I love like writing down things or even typing them up, putting them on a computer, whatever. But then how do you connect the dots? Like, I want to write a book and here's the title and here's a chapter and I want to interview someone. And so you have all this stuff going on, and mind node is like, mind mapping, and you can, I started looking at it today and it's kind of like an org chart where you can move pieces around.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, that's pretty awesome. So, hey guys, we'll make sure to drop some links into some of our favorite apps after the show. And if you guys have an awesome organizing, task-based project management tool that you use, we want to know what yours is too. So drop that in the comments, because I love Trello, but you might have a better system that I might like, and I might not use it this month, but I'll go look at it, and I might, switch over. Technology is always changing. There's always something new.
There's always new apps, and even for me, I have my favorites, but it's still important for me to go out and look and see what are people using and why do they really love it. I mean, you really love Trello, and it's great to be able to hear that, because then I can see sort of what all it's capable of doing.
Yeah, mind node. I'm typing that in the notes right now. But Laura, thanks for joining us. And I will put links. April and I will go back and engage with you guys. If you have specific questions, we are here. The whole point of this show is just to provide service, is to provide tips and trends to you guys so you can grow your businesses, find better jobs, connect with the people that you need to connect. So if you have any questions on getting organized digitally, like what programs do you use for something specific, we want to know what those questions are. So drop them in right now. You can put us on the spot. We might not know the answer, but we will get you an answer. Right, April?
Yes, we'll figure it out. Even if we have to come back to you later, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we will figure it out. So I'm going to move something right there. There we go. So we talked about organizing. We went over Evernote, Dropbox, Google Drive, Trello, and MindNode for that mind dumping.
Yeah, the
mind
visual
mapping.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we talked about Pocket, how to save your articles, because I want to know, does anyone else find an article, you're online, even on LinkedIn or wherever you're at, you're reading entrepreneur.com, you find a great article and you want to go back and share it or read it or quote it, and you either print it out so you have a stack of paper and then you can't find it, or you just leave your tabs open, because I'm the one who just leaves the tab open because I'm like, oh, if the tab's open, I'll go back and read it. So if you do that, I really want to know. Come on, fess up. Put that's me in the comments so that I know I'm not alone in having 25 tabs open because I'm reading like 10 articles.
Now, see, I don't have the tabs open, but that's only because I bookmark the things and go back to them later. So I have a huge list of bookmarks of things.
And I tried that, but I don't see it. Again, I'm a visual creature, so I won't go back into my bookmarks. But bookmarking, let's talk about that. Why don't you discuss bookmarking? Because I just was like, oh, that's a great idea.
Well, and it's, you saving things in bookmarks, it's kind of a way to manage your content. But one of the biggest things is I see people with like these huge, enormous lists of bookmarks on their computer and they don't know what they are, like you said, or the link has expired. And so when you decide, oh, I'll go back looking through these and, oh, look, here's one from 2012. Well, yeah, the article's no longer there. But then they don't get rid of it. So that's sort of the next step. So when I confess that I save tabs into bookmarks, I keep the list fairly short because, like with all organizing, it's not something that you just do it once and then forget about it.
Right.
You gotta kind of keep up and maintain things and stay on top of it. So if you're saving something, that's good, but that's not a permanent home for that document. Maybe or permanent home for that article.
Right. And so you just hit the tab, like you have to clean things up. So do you recommend to your clients, like every 30 days you go through and do a quick dump? Like dump your downloads, go through what's hanging that you can just go through and clean up, organize, put it in a file, print it out if you need to read it, whatever it is, because otherwise I think what happens is we clean our house every week because it gets dirty.
Some of us.
Some of us. But we do laundry because if we don't do our laundry, it'll pile up. Right?
Exactly.
And we'll run out of clothes. Just like that, your computer, if you don't clean it up, you're going to run out of storage, right? So you run out of clothes, you run out of storage on your computer, and you can't find anything. So when I'm thinking about it like relating it to our day-to-day lives, we clean our house, we do our laundry, we have to treat our computers, which is our livelihood, the same way. We need to,
and it's tough because it's a different way of thinking about things. You don't see the data that's piling up in the computer.
It's not like laundry that's falling out of my closet right now.
Yeah, exactly. You don't see that. It all still looks nice and neat because it's tucked away behind a screen. But I usually do recommend to people to find some sort of time frame that works for them. Every 30 days, once a week, once every couple weeks. The longer you go between tidying sessions, the longer it's going to take you. So it's a question of, do you take 2 minutes now to do it, or do you wait and take an hour and a half to slog through it in 3 months?
So Kimberly said me when I was like, tell me that I'm not the only one that leaves a tab open so I can read an article in a month, right? I can't tell you how many times I use one tab and there's just a list of tabs. She said 30 tabs in Firefox. What? And 14 in Chrome? Girl, you're on two different... wow.
That's, as long as you know where the stuff is and you're cleaning it up eventually, but I hope the computer does not crash on you. Yeah, that would be horrible.
And that's the other thing. So you said that we can't see how dirty, pretty much, and unorganized our computers are because it's not like a pile of laundry, right? That piles up. We can see it, probably smell it, if it's there for a while. With a computer, we're not looking at a pile of files. But let me tell you, folks, you know what happens? Your computer starts running slow, and you get messages that you're almost out of memory. That's what's going on right now with this girl and this computer, and that's why I need to do this migration and I need to clean up. So don't do what I'm doing, ignoring it, right? Set up some time to get organized and go through and clean up your computer because it'll run faster. You'll find things. This is January, guys. Let's get organized.
And it's a lot of people stress out because it's such a big pile, and you don't have to do it all at once. Do a little bit now, do a little bit later, do a little bit next time you sit down at the computer, and gradually you'll get it.
Yeah, so Kimberly said that's the biggest trick of organizing, staying on top of it. Oh, it does crash, then I restore. She said her tabs crashed. Kimberly, there's a better way.
I figured that would be the answer.
Yeah. So I'm going to just throw out some other apps of mine that I like for communication. And these weren't really planned, but I'm a big advocate of Zoom. I hold my client meetings on Zoom. It's wonderful. It's easy. Nobody has to download anything. They don't have to sign up. So the worst thing, I think, when you having clients, and you have clients and you work remote or online, right? You don't meet all the time face to face, but it's like, if I'm a client, I don't want to have to download a program so that, wait, I'm already paying to work with you. Make it easy for me. So I like Zoom for my client calls, plus it records the meetings.
Yes.
And they go into my Zoom folder. So now I have all these recordings from past clients. Do I start dumping those when I'm done with a client?
Should.
Yeah. Okay. So that'll free up a whole ton of storage.
There you go. That's sort of your next step there. Once you're done with the client, move all the client stuff into their own folder and archive them away.
Okay, so get organized with Zoom. So if you're recording sessions for clients, send it to the client, review it if you need to, and then delete it. Because really, have I gone back to any of those recordings? No. Okay, so I love Zoom. I'm a Google Calendar girl. I'm a Google and a Mac fan. And the two talk well together. They play well together. They're colorful because I need my colors. But I love Google Calendar. And I put all of my appointments on there. And I like it because I can share it with my husband. I can invite other people to my events. I color code things. My, like my client stuff is all in this purple. So when it's a purple thing, I'm like, oh, that's a client. Workouts are in green. That should be the other way around because green stands for money.
Money.
Right? Yep. And workout should be in black. No, I'm just kidding. I love my workouts.
Red.
Red, yeah, for sweat and hot. So anyways, I love Google Calendar. What calendar system do you use?
I use Google. I use the G Suite system, which allows me to have sort of my branded email, but still keeps me in the Google universe.
Right.
Because like you said, Google plays well with everybody. They do a really good job of getting sort of those connections between different softwares talking to each other.
And speaking of talking and playing well and that whole communication, you had brought up when we were talking earlier, a great company that I just love, and I haven't used it as much as I should. Can we talk about Zapier?
Yes, I love Zapier.
Awesome. I'm going to let you just talk about it because I just know that the company is amazing and the culture is great and all their employees are remote workers. But why don't you tell us how the app actually works?
So what Zapier is sort of a third-party communicator. So it takes two different softwares that maybe don't talk to each other and gets them to communicate. So for example, let's say I made an appointment on my Google Calendar, and then I wanted that appointment to show up on my Trello.
Oh.
Zapier can make that connection when the appointment comes up, Zapier says, ooh, appointment, runs over to Trello and says, put it on your book. And so Trello puts it in the appropriate board. And it's that automation thing that things that don't normally talk to each other. For example, Evernote and QuickBooks Online. Or maybe your CRM and QuickBooks Online.
Oh, so it can talk to QuickBooks?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good.
And so if you go to Zapier, they have a list. I think they have something like, I gave a huge number last time and I was so wrong. I think they have something like 250 or 300 different apps or software that they work with. And it's great. I use it a lot with my calendar to bring stuff into Evernote. I use it when I When I put a new contact in my CRM, it automatically puts it into my Google contacts.
Okay, that would be good for me so that I'm not trying to look up a client's number or something, right? So Zapier, when someone books something on my calendar, maybe?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Then I can add them to my CRM or to my contacts, whatever I want.
Yep. Usually when I'm going to look for new software or when I'm trying to figure out a new system, one of the very first things I do is I'll go to Zapier to see, is it a software they support?
Okay.
Is it something that I can get some automation in there to sort of save myself some time and be more productive?
So Kimberly just said MailChimp and PayPal uses Zapier to communicate with each other.
Yep.
Nice. I like that. I'm going to have to think about how else would you use Zapier? Like as a business owner, if a client does X, then you want Z to happen. Like
they do have now. Zapier used to be just connecting two different softwares, but now, for example, they have a lot of their own things they do. So, for example, a lead comes in through Facebook and they send you a text message.
Okay.
Or there's other automation software out there that can do things like when I am within 500 feet of my home, send a text message to my spouse that I'm on the way.
Oh, cool.
There's another software that does that sort of thing. So Zapier, it's a lot of getting software to talk to each other, but they also do have a lot of their own automation in terms of notifications and getting those digital devices in there.
Okay, I like that. So we talked about some communication platforms. And again, if you have something that you're using and you love and your clients love, it's working, because it's one thing if we love it as a business owner, but if it's not working for your client on the other end, you might need to take a look at that. So just because I love Trello doesn't mean it's great for my clients, but I will say that my clients love it too. But you need to ask your clients, especially if you're trying something new. I tell them, hey, I'm trying, because I did buy something instead of Zoom. There was 24 sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought that through AppSumo because I am an app junkie. I have a problem. I love apps and programs. And I bought this thinking, because it was one flat price forever, and I thought I would use it instead of Zoom, but I tried it once. It didn't quite work. And I'm hoping that, in a month or two, they've worked out their issues or their bugs. But it was something where somebody had to download something, my client, and they were like, oh, I don't like this. I'm like, note to self, not using that until that is fixed. So as business owners, we need to be responsible, and we need to be thoughtful, considerate, and mindful that just because we love a program, how is it working on the user end? How is the user, our client, right, who's paying us, is it easy and seamless for them, right?
And that's always a challenge, because there's always something new and exciting that's come out. Slack is an example of something that's new and very exciting for communication.
Yes.
But not everybody likes it. Doesn't work for everybody. Yeah.
San Diego Startup Week, so San Diego Startup, they use it. Social Media Marketing World, they've been using it when you're on Teams and as a volunteer. And I just found I felt very overwhelmed with all the different channels. And so I heard this year that they're not using Slack, they're using Facebook groups.
Interesting.
I'm not sure how that's going to work, if it's going to be any better or worse, but Slack was, and it could be because I'm not familiar with that platform, right?
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I recommend to people when you're trying a new app or when you're trying a new software. Yes, it may be a struggle at first or maybe a challenge, but it never hurts to find somebody who's like in love with it. Right. So if I was ready to move to Trello and I was starting to try to figure it out on my own, I'd go talk to Mary because I know she loves it and she's played with it enough to figure out all the ins and outs, stuff that as a newbie I'm not going to figure out, maybe not even like.
That's a good point. Find someone who's an expert in that platform, that app, that program, so they can walk you through it. So you might get excited about it, and they might be able to break down that wall. Because I know not everyone is tech savvy, or you think you're not tech savvy. Come on, we're all on our phones using apps. But, you might be like, oh, I don't know about that program. Oh, I'm not quite sure. Find someone, reach out on Facebook, put a comment in here. I'm sure someone in my network knows about the platform that you're interested in. So I think there's one more really important way to stay organized. And I'm just going to say, how many hours a month do you look for a password? How many times? Is it daily? Is it hourly? Is it weekly? Seriously, I know I've done it. My husband gets frustrated trying to find a password. The password's not working. You got to reset it. So you probably just wasted 15 minutes and you're frustrated. So.
And that's where password managers come into play. I think Mary and I were talking and we both use LastPass. But I've been using it for about 6 months now, and it's a huge help. It's set up on my computer so that when I go to a new page and it says, what's your login and password? LastPass just automatically fills that in for me. I just have to hit the button. But let's say they're like, type this in. I can always go up to LastPass and look it up.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is that not only do they sort of hold all your passwords for you and organize them, but they can help by creating strong passwords.
Exactly.
Which has been a big help. Because everybody wants extra security, wants to make sure you're safe. But you mentioned sharing things with your husband.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I like with LastPass is that my husband and I have a shared folder, file, or whatever we call it in LastPass, where we have like all our passwords for logging into Pizza Hut and Domino's and, stuff like that, utilities.
Or like we have, it's called the Frank Sinatra cam. We got a little camera to watch our cat. I know.
Did
crazy.
you?
Yeah. So it's called the Frank Sinatra cam. And so Joe set it up, but I'm like, you set it up, share the password. So it's in LastPass so I have access to it. But yeah. So there's things that we share and we just use that LastPass account and it is secure. People freak out about passwords. Now I will say, don't save them, when it pops up. I'm not a fan of saving it on my computer. When
it's like Google says, do you want to save your password?
No, thank you.
Firefox
I'm like, no, I don't
says.
want it right there. I just want it in this one. I don't know why, but that's what I use is LastPass. I like it.
One of the things I like about it is you can set parameters on that. So example, when I go to HeraHub and I'm working there on my Mac, LastPass will log me out, quote unquote, if I am away from my computer for more than 5 minutes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
So you can set that. So when you come back in, the next time you want to go to a site and enter your password, they're like, what's your master password? And make you enter that in. So that's nice. So if I just walk away to talk to somebody, it's not like somebody else could jump on and log into my banking or something.
I like that. Now, Kimberly just posted that she had to wing her presentation last week because she could not get into her Google Docs. Huge lesson learned to use my LastPass account. Absolutely. And that's one reason that you need a LastPass account. And Kimberly, I'm so sorry that happened to you because that is frustrating. You're already I don't know about you guys, but when I go to speak, do a presentation, get a little nervous, get the jitters, and then when my tech doesn't work, I get flustered. So not being able to get into the presentation in your Google Docs has got to be really frustrating, especially because you put all that effort in to creating this presentation. So this is just another reason why you guys need to have a password manager. We're storing more things, and I love that you're using Google Docs. I'm a big fan of Google Drive and Google Docs because I can access it from anywhere. And for me, it's pretty compatible with everything, whatever kind of device I'm on. So definitely get a password manager. So we've covered like a lot of things. Are there any other, I have like maybe 2 other like little just tech tips, not necessarily organizing. So what do you have to share with us, April, that we didn't cover?
I think the biggest thing is when people look at organizing, like I said earlier, they think they have to sit down and tackle the entire pile. And you didn't build that pile of stuff overnight. And so take 10, 15 minutes each time you start up your computer, or 10, 15 minutes before you close down your computer, and just tackle a little bit of the pile. And eventually you'll get it cleaned out. Sometimes I have a lot of people who tell me, I'm an organized person. I can do this, but this pile has gotten so huge that I just need somebody to come in and clean out the pile, and then from moving forward, I will be good to go. And there are people who can help you do that. Me, for example,
Yay.
but there are others as well. So don't be afraid to ask for help if you need that.
So you can actually, like, let's say I'm like, April, I can't clean up this computer before I migrate it. I can't make sense. I'm overwhelmed. I have a wall. I'm just not going to do it. I could actually work with you. I could hire you to actually organize my laptop.
Yep. Totally do that. And the thing is that all that you don't enjoy it, I just love doing it. So.
Oh my gosh, that just might be my solution.
So there's it's a lot of things that you can tackle by yourself, but if you feel that you need assistance, there is always help out there.
Or
that
time.
You can get.
It's the time thing. Like, I could tackle it, but I just don't have the time at this point.
Exactly. Or the desire.
I love that. So we will make sure that we drop April's contact information. Best way is it, how do you want people to reach out? Email? LinkedIn?
Yeah, probably email.
Okay. So go ahead and reach out to April via email. She'll drop that in below in the comments when we're done. And because you just brought up email, let's take a minute and talk about that.
Email.
Email hell. Let's just call it what it is. We've all been there, or we're there together right now. So, April, how do you manage email? What are your tips? What do you do personally, and do you stay on top of it? Yes. And I know that Hera Hub has that 0 inbox day, which I have never been to, and I so want to go.
The thing that I talk about, before I talk about how I do that, inbox 0, instead of thinking about it as 0 emails in your inbox, think about it as 0 time spent worrying about your email. Because there's so much email coming and going these days that you're never going to get down to 0 and stay there. So think about it as 0 amount of time spent stressing out about email is really the goal.
Okay.
What I do is, in my email, the biggest thing to remember is that everything is either an action item that you've got to do something with, it's a reference item that you can just read it and file it, or it's a trash item. And I think you guys know what the trash items are. But everything is one of those 3 things, and really the most important stuff is those action items. And so I've got a couple folders pulled aside to take action now, take action soon, and I just put those action emails into those folders so I know, well, what do I have to do? Go look at my action folder. Then I can see what I need to catch up on.
And then do you have so you mentioned I think you mentioned reference or read later. Yep. Do you have a folder for that too? So you just create folders on the side and you put them in there. So you're like, okay, take action this week, take action today, maybe take action. Yeah. So now take action in 5 days. So it's kind of like, oh, I better go in there, clean that out. And
then I've got one for waiting. So, you send those emails and you're waiting for somebody to get back to you. Well, you've done your part.
Right.
Now you've just got to put it in the waiting folder. And then I have, just like we do on our computers where we store all of our documents under different folders, I have all of that for my reference things that I need to read and probably need to keep for a while, but I don't want to have them cluttering up my inbox. So normally in my inbox, it's just stuff that's come in recently that I haven't had a chance to read. So I keep mine pretty lean.
I like that. That's one of my goals for 2019. Yeah, that's a lofty goal for me, but I'm going to get there because I have something like 300 in my business email. My personal email is cleaned up except for I signed up to read from my church at the beginning of the year, how to read the Bible in a year. They send you
once a day,
and I was really good for the first 4 days.
Well, and do you need to maybe create a filter and send those emails to a folder so then they go to a folder and you can read them when you're ready?
Well, there you go. There's another tip right there on how to be more organized with our emails. Set up filters. So that's a really great idea. So if you have, let's say you have, so reading things, that would be a great thing.
I have news, I want to say, I like a forum that I'm subscribed to, and all of those go right out of the inbox, right into their own folder, and once a day, once every couple of days, I'll look and there's like 10 or 12. Let's go read them now. But they don't clutter up my inbox by coming through there. They just go automatically to their own little folder.
I'm trying to think, like, social media marketing world, I love their stuff, and they send out great content, but I don't need to see it every couple of days. So if I just put up a filter, because that's a form that I don't want to unsubscribe, but I don't always need to read it. But if it was all in one folder, sure would make my inbox less cluttery, and I could just go through and read the articles that they're sending. You know, they have links to different articles that are really informative.
Yeah.
But I don't need that in my inbox.
And that's one of the other things that I talk to people about is the 2-minute rule. Is if you can, with email, we have a tendency to read an email, we close it, we go to something else. We come back, we read the email again, we close it, we go to something else. If it's something you can do in 2 minutes, just do it. So, social media world, email comes in, it's going to take you 30 seconds to read through it, and then put it away versus scanning it, coming back later, scanning it again, coming back another time, scanning it again, and then putting it away.
Okay. I like that rule, 2-minute rule. If I can do it in 2 minutes, if you can
Just
do it in 2 minutes, do it. And if you can't, then you need to file it, right?
File it, yep. File it away or put it in an action folder or
I think I'm going to create some action folders. Can you do things like, a lot of us have calendars where people book time, right? So if you're in a busy season and you're getting all these notifications that you have a new booking. You have a new booking. Can you set up a filter so those go into a folder called booking? And then, because once the booking's done, I can delete it.
Yep, you totally could. That's an easy one to do. Important. The other thing is if you clean up your inbox and maybe get those, I call them solicitations, but you know, the newsletters and stuff, if you get those coming out of there, then when those important things come through, it's going to be easier to see them and notice them right away.
Okay. So probably if I just clean up all my forums, I probably could cut my inbox in half. I get like Zapier. Like I get their blog. I love their blog.
Yep. Their blog's great.
Zapier, Social Media Marketing World. There's a bunch, and they're good forums, and they're not those are not ones I want to unsubscribe to, but if I just set up the filters, that would probably help.
Just like Pocket, you can go back and read it when you have the time.
Okay, does anyone else have filters set up in their for their mailbox or for their emails? I'd love to know if you do it and what type of filters. How are you using those? Also, are you guys all Gmail users? Do you use Apple? I'm curious. Like, I feel like everybody in the world uses Gmail. Like in my mind, that's really all that's left. Yahoo is junk mail. Hotmail, I don't know, is Hotmail still around?
Hotmail has moved over to Outlook.com.
Okay, Outlook.com. I had a Hotmail account, so did it disappear then?
No, it's probably still out there unless you got rid of it. I work with a client who still has a Hotmail account.
Should I get rid of it?
If you're not using it.
I haven't opened anything in years.
Yeah, you can get rid of it.
There's like old recipes and photos, so maybe I'll work with you and we should just get rid of that. But there's really like Gmail and Apple.
There's Gmail, there's MacMail. And, Yahoo, Outlook.com.
Oh, Outlook. Everyone in businesses uses Outlook. Like that's...
Uses Outlook to look at their mail, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think we covered a lot tonight. Do you have anything else, or should we do a mini review?
Let's review.
So, for organizing on your computer or your phone, April's go-to is Evernote, which is a great app. It's really robust. They've added a lot of features. For your files, Dropbox is April's go-to, and Google Drive is my go-to to organize my images and my documents. There's a new thing out there called MindNode, MindNode, and that's like mind mapping, and I think it's for getting your ideas out of your head and onto a program where you can sit and manipulate them and organize them. Communications, we talked about Zoom, Skype, Google Calendar to stay organized. Passwords, April and I are fans of LastPass, so we love that. And you know what? You guys just get a password manager. Get over the fear. They know everything about us anyways. I just said that to somebody the other day. They know everything about us anyways.
Yeah.
because it's going to save you so much time and headache and yelling at your spouse or significant other. April loves Pocket, and so do I, to put all your articles, periodicals, forums, as you like to call it, right?
Yeah.
What else? Did I miss something?
Zapier. Zapier makes you happier. Helps you automate your work.
Oh, that's cute. That should be a tagline. Is that a tagline?
That is their tagline. That's how I remember how to pronounce it.
Zapier makes you happier. So I think we all need to take a moment and look into Zapier and see how we can zap things into place and save some time. Kimberly said she uses filters for forms and uses Gmail. Believe it or not, there are still AOL users.
There are still AOL users.
Why?
Those are questions I don't always have the answer to.
I'm like, why are there AOL users? But anyways, I've had a blast geeking out with you, April, and we definitely need a geek out session. Yes. So I'll probably book a session with you to come in to get organized and, you know, just do that. You know, I've done a session with April in the past when I had my old business, True Career Coaching, and we switched to Fain, Brandt Coaching and Consulting. What do I do with these emails? Because there were still like clients and stuff. You know, how do I get rid of those? I had something like 6 emails, and you got me down to 3. Yeah, 3. So April's really great at migrating and helping you organize. We also set up new folders in my Hello account, which, you know, that is still working, but I need some more work done. So you and I will definitely be geeking out over my computer and getting some more work done. And then you guys, if you need some help just getting organized to set yourself up for success in 2019, don't spend hours looking for a password. Don't spend hours trying to figure out where something is, a document or image on your computer. And if you need help, she's your girl. You just want to contact April, set up a session with her, and she can help you get it done in half the time. And with that time that you're saving, you can be out making money in your business. So you're way better off just hiring April and working with her, so you can like, here, organize me. I'm going to go make money. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
That's exactly the point. Get things automated and organized so you have more time for revenue generation. So
April, I see you just dropped in your Gmail down there. So thank you. And I just want to say thank you for everyone for tuning in and joining me for the first Facebook Live show here of 2019. April, thank you always for spending time geeking out. You guys, you can find me here the first and third Wednesdays of the month at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I just lined up guests all the way through April, and we have some rock stars coming on. And February, you know I like to call February Financial Month. It's that big, ugly F word. That's right. So I have a financial expert coming on, and she is going to talk to us about being an entrepreneur and how we can use our money to save for retirement. We don't have 401ks. Right? Being an entrepreneur. So she's going to talk to us about what we need to do to set ourselves up for success in retirement. And I know that's kind of boring, but we really need to understand what benefits us as an entrepreneur and how to do that. So we've got some great guests. We'll be putting the events up on my Facebook page. So please follow me over there. Connect with me on LinkedIn. If we're not already connected, connect with April. We want to help grow your network with savvy business professionals. So stay fabulous and informed. This is Fain Brandt with the LinkedIn Bakery. Ciao.